Volin, senior NFL writer for the Boston Globe. This dude has been covering the NFL since 2007. I can guarantee you he has never seen an offense as exciting as the Miami Dolphins offense. Correct?
I mean, it's up there with the greatest of all time.
It really is. Like, I'm goofing around, but it really is an offense that you rarely see.
Well, I think I just missed it here in New England. The 07 Patriots, I think the 2011 Patriots, they put up some crazy numbers in some of those seasons. I mean, but the way the Dolphins have started out now, it does compare to the Rams of 01, Dan Marino in 84. I mean, this is some of the greatest offensive production we've ever seen in the NFL at a time when the rest of the league is way down on offense. This is the second year in a row where points per game, league-wide passer rating, yards per attempt, it's all way down, and the Dolphins are way up. So, unbelievable job by Mike McDaniel. Tua, of course, I could never not praise Tua.
The job we'll get there.
Doing. Chris Greer building this team. I was thinking before, it's funny how it took 20 years, but the NFL, it has come full circle. You've got the Patriots at 1-5, and they're on the bottom, and you've got like the Lions and the Jaguars and the Browns and the Dolphins all riding high right now. So good for the Dolphins. It is cool to see, and this offense, it is a lot of fun. But they got a tough test on Sunday night against the Eagles. Now this is going to be a tough game for them.
And Ben, you bring up 07 Patriots. My hand was shaking because that was Randy Moss, correct? That was that team, bro. They were hell. But I'm gonna leave Tua to Hoch because y'all been arguing for years. So I want to ask you about the AFC East, though. The Dolphins are the #1 team because the Bills beat them, but the Dolphins seem like they would be ranked higher. It seems like they have a better chance.
Well, certainly, I'd say the Dolphins are playing better right now against everyone but the Bills. I mean, the Bills just owned them, 10 out of 11. I mean, a 28-point loss, that's not like, a mistake. That's a dominant win. And, like in the NFL, it's kind of like the NBA. These teams, they have to get over these humps. And Mahomes had to get over Brady, which he finally did. Like the Dolphins do have to kind of prove they can beat the Bills. And until they can't, to me, it's still the Bills division. They're not playing well. Fortunately for the Bills, they get the Patriots on Sunday. So that's a get-right game for them. Watch them put up 60 points and pick off Mac Jones 4 times. But, the Dolphins are just flying high right now. It's awesome. But to me, the challenge with the Dolphins is lasting 17 weeks. Can they do it in cold weather games? Can Tua stay healthy? If they can, there's no reason why they can't be a legitimate contender in the AFC.
There's a weird narrative going on with Tua, specifically this week. And I think it started with Stephen A. Smith when he said he's throwing 2-yard passes and Tyreek is just running with it. And he's backed off it a little bit. And Tyreek said on his podcast yesterday, he said, I'm sick and tired of people bashing my quarterback for no reason. I'm sick of it. I'm standing on the table and saying right now, I'm sick of people bashing my quarterback. He's been doing a hell of a job this year, and people need to stop giving him crap. A lot of people don't understand what my dog went through just to get here, man. What he went through last year especially, and to get where he is now, being talked about as an MVP, that's next level. I don't know too many quarterbacks that are doing that. I'm sorry. There is still this narrative on Tua, and I believe it comes from the Brian Flores era. That's my personal perspective, is that Brian Flores created this narrative that Tua is not an elite quarterback. But Crowder and I think, are both in agreement. Mike McDaniel's scheme does help, and having Tyreek Hill does help, and having Raheem Mostert does help. But I would still suggest to you that he's an elite quarterback in the NFL. Would you go that far?
I don't think I would, because I don't think if you dropped him in on 20 other teams that he would be doing that well right now. I think there would be other circumstances where Tua would be performing well, but I don't want to detract from what he's doing here in Miami. I think it's phenomenal, and I think they've built a system that really accentuates his talents. And like all those narratives are true. Like it is an offense that is heavy on yards after catch. Tua, I think he leads the NFL he's in top 5 in like yards after catch per reception, but also in yards at catch, in air yards. So it's
yards per attempt too.
Right. There's just so much production that he's doing everything. Now, yes, I do think that a lot of it is Mike McDaniel is a heck of a coach and has a perfect scheme, and Tyreek Hill and Waddle and all that. I mean, those are elite receivers. Patrick Mahomes isn't the same quarterback without Tyreek Hill, but you can't detract that Tua is doing phenomenally in this offense and is really, couldn't be doing a better job of running the offense and doing what the coaches asked of them. I just think if you really want to like argue this, I think you could probably take several other quarterbacks, drop them in the Dolphins offense. They would be doing well right now. I just think it's really set up for success. And I think if you took Tua and put him with other teams, it would be bad. Like put him on this Patriots team, he would not be elevating the Patriots right now. So that's just kind of how I feel about Tua, but I don't mean that to detract from him. I think what he's doing this year is phenomenal, and he deserves all the accolades that are coming to him.
And Ben, talking about this team, like I try to explain to people, this type of football, I don't like. All the Hawk, me and Hawk argue all the time. Like, I love a 17-10 game. Like, that's good football to me. I think that is prehistoric. Those are dinosaur numbers where, like, when I talk about the Dolphins, they asked me, Ben, can this team win a Super Bowl? I said yes, because when they're down by 14 to Carolina, I have no problem because I know they can throw up 30. Like, teams that can win now, you look at the 5-6 teams that really have a chance to win. It's those teams that can get to 40 points. And it used to not be like that. What is it? The 2002 Bucks, the 2000 Ravens, like some of those teams that you covered that, you've been in this league as long as, back when I used to play, Ben. Is the game really changed that much? Because the Detroit Lions come up in my mind where they're not going to get to 40, but they have this hard-nosed coach, this hard-nosed team. Do they really have a chance to win a championship when you set up your team and when you play like they play?
I mean, I like the Lions. I definitely think they're going to be a contender in the in the NFC at the end of the season, just because I think they're built really well where it matters most, and that's on the offensive line and defensive line. They're really stout in the trenches on both sides, and that carries you a long way, and that travels into the playoffs. So I do like the Lions. What you said about the Dolphins is so true, and that goes back to what I was saying about how the NFL, it's kind of flipped on its head now. That's what we used to say about the Patriots. Like, there's no lead in the first quarter that would phase you. And that's when the Dolphins went down 14-0 to the Panthers. Maybe the fact also that it was the Panthers, but it's like, whatever, they'll get that back, no problem. And when would you ever say that about the Dolphins over the last 2 decades? So they've really built an offensive juggernaut. and I don't know, the Super Bowl this past year was 38-35. You need to be able to score points. You got to be able to march 80 yards in the final 2 minutes. And the Dolphins are one of the few teams that are built that way. So I do think in today's NFL, even though like points are way down, and Channing, to your point, every game last weekend was 20-17, which is your kind of football. But I think in the playoffs, you still have to be built to score.
If you want to watch 17-point games, watch his Patriots. What is the deal?
Lucky to get
if they're lucky, 17 yards, 17 total yards.
They would have a parade if they could average 17 a game.
Ben Volin is a senior NFL writer for the Boston Globe. What is going to happen with the New England Patriots and Bill Belichick and Mac Jones? I think Belichick, he's starting to become a talking point right now because any other coach would be on the hot seat. I think he's actually earned the right to not ever be on a hot seat unless he gets stubborn. And Kraft wants him out, and Belichick's just saying, yeah, I'm not going anywhere. And then he would kind of force his hand. What is going on there?
His seat is scalding hot. It's all people want to talk about here. I mean, they're 1-5. The roster is arguably the worst in the league. It's just the whole operation is rotten. The coaching staff is all brand new, and it's all these guys who, weren't part of the success during the dynasty, and the team looks awful. Mac Jones looks, unsalvageable at this point. They have no talent on the roster. I'm out in Vegas last weekend. I go into the NFL store. There's racks and racks of jerseys of all the different teams. There's like one little display of Mac Jones jerseys in the corners, and that's all the Patriots get. There's no buzz. They're getting
no Gesicki jerseys.
Yeah, I mean, there's every team but the Patriots. There's no buzz with this team. There's no talent. Belichick has kind of driven this team into the ground, and that's all people want to talk about. I was at the owners' meetings in New York on Tuesday and Wednesday, and it's like I was the center of attention. People were constantly asking me, like NFL employees, like, what's going to happen to Belichick? Are they really going to fire him? And it's like, if it continues like this, probably. I mean, the Patriots, it's hard seeing where the wins come from. They've got their most talented players are out for the year, like Matthew Judon, Christian Gonzalez. I mean, who are they going to beat? Like maybe the Colts over in Germany, maybe the Jets in week 18. The Patriots are one of the worst teams in the league. If they finish 4-13, 3-14, like how do you bring Belichick back at this point? To me, the question is really, do you keep Gerard Mayo as the head coach and have some continuity, or do you just like blow the whole thing out and start fresh? But it's a tough decision for the Crafts. I mean, it's Bill Belichick, as you said, 6 championships, 24 years of success and all that. But the team is like in the sewer right now, and it'd be an impossible sell to bring him back if the year keeps going the way it does.
Ben, does Belichick catch Shula? Because I think he's 28 away, something like that, 29 away. But if he leaves the Patriots and 29 wins, well, what you're on the path now, that's at least 3 or 4 years. So he coaches 3 or 4 years, or he leaves New England and somebody else makes him their head coach. Like, does Belichick ever catch Don Shula?
Well, it's funny you say 29 wins, because around here, people want to say it's only 18 because they include the postseason. And I don't know, like, and what other record do we consider postseason? It's usually only just regular season
Right.
stuff. So anyway, there's kind of 2 records there that Belichick is chasing. I don't know. The way this season's going, it ain't happening with the Patriots. He would have to join another team. And I don't know. People are talking about, would he have some trade value? Could a team like the Commanders or the Chargers, go after Belichick? Like maybe, because he does have obviously the resume, but he'll be 72 next year. He just, drove the Patriots into the ground. Is that the guy you really want to start over with your organization and everything? So I tend to think that when it ends with the Patriots, he's probably done. I don't think he'll get to Shula's record at this point. And frankly, I think it's a moot point, because as long as Andy Reid stays healthy, I think he's getting the record. I think, he's ahead of Belichick's pace at his age, and he's got Mahomes and I think Andy Reid is coming on strong here. So, before the season, I was thinking it was maybe a 50-50 proposition that Belichick would be able to do it in 2 years. But now when you see just how quickly things have fallen apart, I just don't see it happening.
Dolphins are 2.5-point dogs Sunday night in Philly. If you were setting the line now, because the game after that is against the New England Patriots, if you were setting the line, Ben, what do you have Dolphins Patriots line at?
In Miami too, which has been a house of horrors for the Patriots when they were good, when they had Tom Brady. I mean, we're talking about, so the Patriots are 8.5-point dogs at home to the Bills
Buffalo
this week. And that's their largest home dog, I think, since Tom Brady's first start in 2001 against the Colts and Peyton Manning, which coincidentally the Patriots won like 44-13. So yeah, they're a huge home dog to Buffalo. So if they're going to Miami next week, I mean, it's going to be 13 points, 14 points, somewhere. Again, the tables, it's 2007, but reversed, Channing. This is the team now where the guys are tearing their ACL as Tyreek Hill is catching one-handed bombs for touchdowns. I mean, it's role reversal now, man.
We waited a long time. Like, it finally happened, because we had written that Patriots team off year after year when Brady was there, and they were just always still there. Like, it never, and then it has finally, like, the tables have finally turned. I mean, the Patriots are as bad a team as you can watch, and the Dolphins are as fun a team as you can watch.
And I don't get the sense from guys around the league that anyone's feeling any pity for the Patriots.
We're not.
It's been a long time coming, and no one is feeling any sort of pity for them.
Ben, in 2007, I think after Moss maybe caught his second touchdown, I went to the D coordinator and I was like, hey, when Moss looks at Brady and Brady winks at him, what should I check to? Like, I was calling the defense, but I'm like, I should check something to get over there because I know what's about to happen. He yelled back at me, what do you want me to check to? I said, yeah, we're in trouble. I think y'all put up 50 on us in 2007. It was bad. But yeah, I'm glad the tables are turned, Ben. I won't lie. No pity from here.
Of course not. Channing, how hard was it for the guys to stay on track that 1-15 year?
It's funny because we've talked about this. Like 1-7, 1-8, people feel sorry for you, or they're getting mad at you, sorry. At about 0-11, because I think we won the 13th game. Then people started like apologizing to you when you're out to eat with your family. Like they feel bad for you. And that's right. When the team, like we started kind of looking around at each other, and then it was a Cam Cameron year. Nobody believed in Cam. So we went in the year knowing he wasn't that good of a coach because he does just goofy crap throughout camp. And then we played the Washington Commanders now.
Yep.
And we lost in overtime. And we had the ball first. We got a 3-and-out. We kicked it to them. They drove down and kicked a field goal on us. Just the worst overtime performance of a team. He walked in the locker room after the game, Ben, and he said, from the outside looking in, that was a hell of a game.
Oh.
We're like, from the outside looking in, you're the head coach. What are you speaking of? And it kind of just went downhill from there. But it is it's maddening early on. And then you almost feel sorry for your teammates and you feel bad like, damn, fellas, I'm letting y'all down. You letting me down. It becomes a very sad place to be every day you have to go into work.
Man. So
all hail Greg Camarillo.
You know what? That's still one of the top 5 games I've ever been to. That celebration, after, in overtime.
That drives Crowder crazy that his teammates celebrated.
That's a goosebump moment on the.
Remember Wayne Huizenga was like crying in the suite.
I mean, there has never been a sweeter win. Seriously, that's still a top 5 game that I've ever been to. That one was cool.
Derek Pope snatched the flag away from the cheerleaders and went and jammed it into the middle of the field at 1-12. Me and his relationship ended right there. I was like, bro, what are you celebrating? You know what? Jason Taylor was just as upset as I was that everybody was so excited. Like, we're still 1-12, fellas. Like,
come on. What a glitch. Come on, man.
Ask JT about it. JT and me, I was walking out the field looking at him. He was looking at me, and I was like, damn, at least you're a Hall of Famer and a multimillionaire. I'm on my rookie deal. I'm broke and embarrassed, man.